My community, the Somali community, really needs to be honest, and we need to talk about fraud and who's committing it, even if it's our own members. First of all, fraud is fraud. It's really bad. It hurts everybody. It especially hurts the most vulnerable. Our community, my community, Somali community, needs to have a good leader. A leader that's a pretty good example, that promotes the ideas of America, that does not promote hate.
We are back talking about the Minnesota fraud situation. Obviously, you already know this, but I've been covering the Minnesota fraud situation for a while now. The Feeding Our Future scam, the daycare fraud, all of it. And today I came across this interview with this man. This is a Somali American author who literally got his book event shut down for speaking out against fraud in his own community. This man has been getting death threats. His mother had to move because the people are coming after her, all because he said, you know what, hey, maybe we shouldn't be committing fraud. That's insane.
This was August 2014. So I spoke English already, learned from American movies, right? When I went to my community, my Somali community, the first two things I was told was to sign up for a low-income housing, right? Section 8, to sign up for all of these benefits. But to do that, I have to connect with a local organization. So it's already a trap that I see someone is already waiting at the airport.
So we're going to watch this interview together and kind of just see how difficult it is to be critical of your own community, especially in the Somali community. That's why you see so many people be so aggressive. Anyone comes around to even ask any questions, you see the extent of this aggressiveness when you listen to this man speak. Let's get into it.
A Somali American speaking out against fraud and facing threats from his own community. The consequences of telling the truth instead of taking sides. Next. Abdi Nor Iftin is a Somali American, a naturalized U.S. citizen. He's also the author of a memoir titled Call Me American. It is beyond obvious now that fraud has been plaguing Minnesota. You've been an important voice in all this. Well, there's more to be said, I know, about how elected officials and state agencies may be accountable. Many of those who have been charged and convicted are Somali. In fact, 90% of those who have been federally charged in fraud-related cases are Somali, according to court records. What has been your reaction to all of this attention, that this is happening now, and also knowing that it's been going on for so long?
I have been speaking about these issues, fraud as well as corruption, for a while. I mean, I understand now it's every American is aware of it because the news is talking about it. But here's what I think. I think my community, the Somali community, really needs to be honest, and we need to talk about fraud and who's committing it, even if it's our own members. First of all, fraud is fraud. It's really bad. It hurts everybody. It especially hurts the most vulnerable. So it hurts my community as well, the Somali community, right?
So you can see right here, Abi said something that I think I've been trying to say for months. Many people have been talking about this for months. Fraud is fraud, and it hurts the most vulnerable people. 90% of those federally charged in the Minnesota fraud cases are from the same community, the Somali community. This is according to court records. No one's making this up. This is not people being racist. This is not someone trying to stereotype anyone. This is literally what the court documents are saying. And when someone from that community stands up and say, hey, we need to talk about this, honestly, he's going to get attacked for it, unfortunately. Think about that. He's not saying that all the people are committing fraud. He's saying that there's too many of them, right? He's saying that people who committing the fraud need to be held accountable, regardless of their background. And somehow that's a controversial take. That's why there's so many issues happening right now in Minnesota. It's basically complete mayhem over there. People are storming into churches. There's shootings. There's riots. There's issues every single day. It's too cold to be outside with this nonsense. He says it hurts our own vulnerable communities because the money that is being stolen could have went to fix roads. It could have built better schools. It could help people who actually need it. Instead, it's lying in the pockets of a few fraudsters who are hiding behind their community as a shield. Notice this too. You haven't seen a lot of Somalis out there protesting. Have you? I've been checking out some of the protest footage and the riots and the fights. I haven't seen anyone that's been saying, hey, I'm Somali and I'm out here fighting for my people. They're chilling. They're in the back while everyone else is crashing out.
It doesn't give us any advantage. If we speak up against it and really become so honest about it, then that's an advantage because our community needs to work hard. Our community, my community, Somali community, needs to have a good leader, a leader that's a pretty good example, that promotes the ideas of America, that does not promote hate. And I also expect the Democratic leader to come to that conclusion, to really understand that if they're defending fraud, if they're not speaking about it, it's hurting our own vulnerable communities. So that's what I see. But most of the people, it's just become political. But I do not think it is political.
I agree. Fraud is fraud, again, as we say. And he is going after some of the leaders, Democrat leaders, that are so focused on getting votes that they don't want to say anything that piss off that voting bloc. And he's talking about Ilhan Omar, especially. She has been profiting, looks like, it still could be alleged, but how someone comes in as a congresswoman and just by a few years generates tens of millions of dollars. Now, again, this is all alleged, but how? All of a sudden gets to $30 million in just a few years. That's not how it works. So he's calling out these Democratic leaders, saying that they're going to defend fraud or stay silent on it. They're part of the problem. This takes a lot of guts because, especially in Minnesota, where the political climate is where it is right now. So this man is just asking for basic accountability and honesty. And for that, obviously, his community tried to shut him down.
Now, Abdi, you've been censored and seriously threatened for speaking out.